Realistically speaking, I do feel like Diddy is going to do time. Libra season may be significant, or Libra season may be significant for him. Realistically speaking, I think he's going to do time. He's already spent. It may not be the maximum. I don't think he's going to do the maximum. Um, so his sentencing was supposed to be October. Why do I keep saying September? What is happening in September for him? But they're if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to push the date up. So he is trying to be, they said he's guilty of 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. So that is expected to result in 4 to 5 years, 51 to 63 months under federal sentencing guidelines, prosecutor's position. The defense is urging for a lighter 21 to 27 months, citing the 9 months you already served. So with that range, with credit for time served, he could possibly, and this is just off of my intuition, 2 to 5 years total. A decade per count or 20-year sentence is legally possible, but I think it's unlikely. He's already served 9 months in custody pending trial. Now, from the astrological perspective, charting the lockdown with his solar return and the nodal lessons from this year to 2026, with his Saturn's return to Pisces and orbiting his 7th to 8th house, that aligns with his major life reckonings, legal accountability, others' influence, and having to deal with some big consequences. It's karmic and unavoidable. Now, from tarot readings, I know he's into some spiritual stuff, but this is not a trial he could wiggle out of. It's baked into his charts. With the slower, heavy timing planets demanding structure and consequences for his actions. Then he has the eclipse overlaying, will intensify the legal pressure. So that's September 7th, that's at September 21st, the lunar eclipse in Pisces and the solar eclipse in Virgo. The eclipse in Pisces falls in an area of hidden shame and shared resources. So this is going to mirror to the courtroom revelations and pending sentencing. So, and then the September 21st, the solar eclipse in Virgo will trigger a realignment of daily life and routines. He's going to be forced to change something around his structure or reset. So it's going to be abrupt as the prison scheduling demands. So with both eclipses from just a cosmic standpoint or vantage point, making him be released is unlikely, and it symbolizes a deeper transformative cycle for him. And then he has Mars and Pluto still activated. So with this transiting his Pluto square Mars Saturn angles, he should keep his ambition under scrutiny and spark conflicts around his power. Meaning, if he happens to get out or less time, people will be questioning, well, how much power do he really have? So this alignment matches the reality of his legal battles, the reputational fallout, and the inability to escape consequences. So will he be locked up for a long time? I think he will spend years, not months. With the September eclipse and Saturn things, it does make early release improbable. But short of max terms, it could be likely 2 to 4 years, possibly closer to 4 to 5 years with sentencing guidelines and credit applied. But post-September appears locked in. Cosmic energy shuts down any escape routes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, like I've mentioned, they're trying to get an earlier sentencing date. This guy has an astrologist on his side or something, because if they go through with the sentencing in September, October, is really not favorable for him. So it does feel like somebody's trying to beat the stars. So, which goes back to him trying to plan strategically. So he's into the metaphysical and maybe has an astrologist on his payroll too. So leaning into just the Saturn discipline, compliance, humility, structure, routines. This is a maturity test for him. Now he could harness Jupiter's mild support earlier in the year to seek legal leniency through restitution, positive statements, and therapeutic steps. But also, he should prepare for false hit. She shouldn't resist the forced change, and also show transformation. So that's the only way he's going to get through this. So I would say likely 2 to 5 years with current credit, maybe 3 years inside. Not only is he being charged with the transportation, this is a karmic sentence for him. But it's not going to be forever. I think that's a serious disgrace. But the eclipse and the Saturn won't let him off easy. So, I mean, what can you really say about the situation? He deserves time. It just may not be as much as some people will want it to be. Now, an estimate of projected release dates for him based on different scenarios with how it could play out with his sentencing and his progress chart. Um, Now this is based on if he's sentenced in October 3rd, but like I said, I think they're trying to do it earlier. With time served 9 months as of this month, federal system typically equals no parole, but possibly 50% reduction for a good behavior. If he does 21 months, he'll be out August of next year with good behavior. If he gets sentenced 36 months, he'll get out July of next year with good behavior. And if he gets 51 months, he'll be out of October 2028. And if he gets 63 months, which is like the max, he will get out August 2029. And these projected release dates are based on good behavior at 85% degrees. And it's minus 9 months because he already had that time. So the most likely window for him to be released, hypothetically speaking, would be mid 2027 to late 2028. And that's just me assuming he gets 36 to 51 months minus the 9 months he already served. Now, with his progress chart, how would Diddy be behind bars? I feel like he may eternally grow, but he could also change from the inside out during key years. Now, between 2025 and 2030, with his progressed sun that will move from Scorpio into Sagittarius, 2026, 2027. So this is going to be a mass identity shift. And I wouldn't be surprised with him being locked up if he doesn't like get people that starts following him, like almost build like a cult under Diddy. And I know that's crazy. But a massive identity shift. The Scorpio sun is, secretive, power focused, and a survivalist like his past. He's gonna survive some ish. And then Sagittarius sun, that's what he would progress in with his progress chart. This is more expansive, philosophical, physical. Why can't I not talk? More philosophy, truth seeking. So this is suggests a shift from control to seeking meaning, possibly spiritual growth, publishing, or mentoring other inmates. Like I said, building a cult of people outside and inside that will follow him, worship him. So I don't know what to say, really, about the situation. Like, does the bad people always win? Then he's going to have, with his progress chart, he's going to have, well, we spoke about the 2025 eclipses. So that, just be honest, that marks the fall from power that he has and forces a lifestyle reset, which goes back to how his freedom does change. That's what I got from just intuitively. So his identity will begin to unravel publicly, mirroring his Pluto in Aquarius. So his legacy is going to be reshaped. 2026, I see emotional breakdown or healing begins for him, and his progressed moon will enter Scorpio if it's not already there. It could intensify. So this is like a time of deep soul excavations. He's gonna have to face his psychological wounds. So behind bars, this will push him inward, and this is the dark night of the soul period, and it's not nice. It's not nice. 2027, his Saturn will trine his natal sun and Mercury. If he chooses the high road, rehab, reflection, maybe even spiritual outreach, Saturn could support him in rebuilding. He also could really write some memoirs or books or develop programs or build some sort of spiritual credibility behind bars, more so like that cold energy. Now, from 2028 to 2029, his progressed sun will square his Saturn. So this is his last big reckoning. The consequence of his ego and life choices come to a head. So if he's still incarcerated at this time, he could be at his lowest point emotionally. So, but if he's released by then, he'll struggle to reestablish his power and may find that he's more humble, low-key, influenced by it's really not how it used to be Diddy. What this means from a spiritual standpoint, Diddy, the man who leads prison, will be not the man who entered. That's what Spirit said. It shows a forced ego death and potential for rebirth only if he embraces humility. Now, if he tries to hold on to old power structures like the old Diddy, he will fade out with Pluto's judgment. So 2025, just doing a summary, sentence, and then the eclipse shatters his status. 2026, isolation, psychological purging, and his Scorpio moon phase. 2027, Saturn possibly rewards his growth, spiritual or educational focus pays off. 2028, he hits a personal wall, identity crisis, or attempt to return begins. And then 2029, his legacy is going to be caution. That's the final test of his maturity.